Welcome to Career Moving Opportunities for College Students, where the journey from campus to career begins. Hosted by Donnie Glover of Be More News, each episode explores how you can develop essential skills in creativity, leadership, critical thinking, and a growth mindset, all designed to enhance your college experience and prepare you for success in the workforce. Get ready to grow, lead, and create your future.
Hello, we'd like to welcome Jamar Moore. Jamar, what's your title?
My title, good morning, or good afternoon, I should say. My title, I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor in the state of Maryland.
And you run a business?
I do. I run a business with my wife. It's called All Things New Clinical Services. We operate strictly online right now. And it started, I want to say the online aspect started back in March of 2020. Once
Pandemic
the pandemic hit, we were working out of an office, but once the pandemic hit, things just changed drastically for us. So we went to virtual therapy, and at the time, we were able to see people pretty much all around the country. But once they closed that reciprocity rule, then we had to stay strictly with Maryland. But I'll say this, working virtually has been very beneficial to us and our clients because our late appointments, for the most part, went down. Missed appointments went down because people can see you virtually. It's more convenient. So we see people in their homes while they're in their cars, parked, of course, while they're doing other things. They could be on a walk. And as long as they're in a private place, they can have a virtual session and have therapy. So
the pandemic caused you, a therapist, to use your own critical thinking.
Yes.
To determine the best way to pivot, the pandemic pivot.
Absolutely. So here's the thing. Critical thinking is based off of objective thinking, objective ideas. You got to take your feelings out of it. And what the evidence presents, that's what you go with. Whatever works, that's what you go with. And you have to be able to think critically in any field, but especially in the medical field or anything you're dealing with mental health. You've got to be able to think critically. So for example, if I have a client that comes to me with a specific issue, I have to use my critical thinking and my judgment as best way to serve them. I can't let my feelings get involved with it. It's hard to do that because we're humans. You know, I'm a human being. I'm talking to human beings every day. But if I know saying a certain thing will cause you to go a different direction, I'm gonna not say it. If I know that encouraging this person to do something is not beneficial for them, I'm not going to do it. My best interest is for the client. So that requires me to take my own ideas and biases out of it and talk to them the way they need to be spoken to.
Critical thinking, I think, is often challenged in our relationships with our significant others.
Oh, yeah. Definitely is. Definitely is.
This training video is for professionals, for entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Any advice, any thoughts on, I'm a carpenter. I hammer, I build, but then I go home and I have a wife.
Okay. So work-life balance, so to speak. Okay. This is something that comes up, I want to say, in my field, the work-life balance comes up every day, especially now with people being laid off or fired. But let's just stick to without that element. Let's just stick to the regular work-life balance of someone who's a carpenter, comes home after a long day, and they want to be in a safe place, because I may come home from a long day and not want to talk about my day. I may not want to say a word about it because of what happened to me. I may have had an argument with a coworker, a disagreement with a client. Something would have happened. I might have hurt myself. Something would have happened to cause me to say, you know what, I don't want to talk about it. But I might be coming home to a spouse that's ready to hear about my whole day and tell me about theirs. Now, if my feelings are in the right place, if my mindset's in the right place, and I'm using some deductive reasoning here and some critical thinking when I come home, I need to be able to set my feelings to the side and hear them out because I don't know what their day was like. They might have to share some things with me to help them get through it. So before I even go there, I need to make sure I'm checking myself. Critical thinking is a lot about checking your own thoughts and feelings before you respond, before you act, because you want to do things in a way that's beneficial, not just for you, but for people that are around you. Because how you think is how you act. I'm going to say that again. How you think is how you act. If anyone out there has ever heard of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, this is so crucial because our thoughts become our feelings. Our feelings turn into our actions, and our actions have consequences. Now, we all want to have that positive consequence from our feelings and from our thoughts. But if from the beginning, your thoughts are diluted by things that happen in your day, if you are having some kind of irrational thoughts going on and you create a narrative in your mind and you run with that, that's going to have a trickle down effect. Thoughts, feelings, behavior, consequences. You can take that in any field you're working in and apply
Thoughts,
that.
thoughts, feelings, behavior, consequences.
Yes.
And this is called cognitive behavioral.
That's an aspect of cognitive behavioral therapy because everything that we do depends on our brains and what we're thinking. Everything depends on that. For example, I'm gonna give you an example of you're a public person, you're a socialite, you go out and you meet people all the time. It's how we met. We sat down and just started talking, right? Now, if we sit down and start talking and your thought is, man, this dude smell like weed, he probably a thug. He might rob me. If that's your thought, if that's what you're feeding yourself, your actions are going to display that. You might have a different type of posture around me. You might be checking your wallet around me because you're telling yourself, this cat smell like weed, man. I got to protect myself because people that smell like weed, they rob you. So let me change my posture. Let me keep my eye on him. Hmm. But the whole time, what you don't know is I smoke weed for medicinal purposes. I need this for my glaucoma or for my nerves. So that's why I have a scent of marijuana on me. And I'm the safest person you ever want to meet. But you told yourself something different. You told yourself this person's dangerous. So now everything about you is nervous. And he's picking up on this now. Now he's like, man, this dude's acting kind of crazy. I need to get away from him. Now the person that you think is dangerous is scared of you. All because of the narrative you created in your mind. You told yourself something, you're acting on it, you believe it. Now your behavior has now led to a negative outcome, a negative consequence. This person is now walking away from you because of the way you're acting.
Now, I just want to say I am a media person. I am not a psychologist.
Okay.
And let me just throw this in there. I understand that some of the greatest psychologists in the world are incarcerated persons.
Mm,
I understand that you study the mind, psychology, study of the mind through behavior.
yes.
And an incarcerated person has a lot of time to study behavior.
Yes.
So with that said, in our community, in our country, we represent 5% of the world's population, yet we have 25% of the incarcerated persons.
Right.
We know that in our community, nearly 40% of America's incarcerated persons are Black men.
Mm-hmm.
And we know there's a 70% recidivism rate,
Mm-hmm.
meaning 7 in 10 return. And we know that we also have a 70% single mother household situation.
Mm-hmm.
All of that to say, and again, we're talking to entrepreneurs, the business professionals with this training video. Can you tell me about unhealed trauma?
Ooh, that's so broad. And I say broad because it hits everyone at some point in their life. And since we're talking about our community, our African American community, we have to look at trauma as something as serious as heart disease, as cancer, as all of the other well-known diseases that attack us physically. We have to take a fine microscope and go a deep dive into people's trauma, because that right there can dictate your life. It can dictate things that you do. It's so funny that you brought this up, because I just had a conversation with my mother about certain things that happened in my family and some of the trauma that took place. And after having that conversation, I noticed how not only was my grandparents' lives dictated by their trauma, but her life was dictated by her trauma. The way she did certain things with us as her kids was a direct result of the trauma that she experienced. She was a little more protective with certain things with us, a little more restrictive with certain things with us because of the trauma she experienced as a kid. And just imagine if she knew what that trauma was and how it affected her. And if she knew that therapy, ongoing therapy, was a way to help her deal with and manage her trauma. And I say manage because it's not something that we're going to forget. We're not going to forget our trauma, but we can learn how to manage it. We're not going to forget our grief or the loss of a loved one. We'll never forget that. But we learn how to manage these things. So any kind of trauma that's related to you as an entrepreneur, that could dictate your decision-making ability. That can have a serious effect on where you choose to invest or not invest. But is that decision helping or hurting you? Now, I know as a therapist, when we talk about therapy with our people and giving back to the community and all that, sometimes we have to do that with blinders up. We got to do it with blinders up, because I might be affected by a person that is a known dealer or a known abuser, and I may not want to put my money towards an area where that's happening. But that's not the goal here. The goal is to help in a broad sense. I can't say, oh, I'm not helping that community because they're known for this, or this community because they're known for that. Like, no, 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 no. Because in every community, there's so many good people in every community, but it gets a bad rap for just a few. So I can't limit my help and my resources because a few people have hurt me along the way. That's not what you want to do as an entrepreneur. And that goes back to critical thinking and knowing your own trauma. That's a whole nother topic right there. Knowing what you have dealt with in your life and getting help for it, seeking out somebody that can help you navigate it and help you manage it.
Manage it.
hmm We manage it every day. We manage it every day. It's the only way we can function, is if we manage it. So many people out here wake up and go to a job that they despise, that they hate. They deal with coworkers that they cannot stand, they can't get along with, but they still go. And they manage all of those feelings, all of that anger and frustration. They manage it because they know, I got to get up and go to work so I can earn money to take care of myself and my family. But they manage it. They don't let it take over them. They get up there and they go. We got brothers and sisters out here who have had to be twice as good to get a position that everybody else only had to do just a little bit for. Imagine all the frustration that comes along with that when you sit next to somebody that you know, man, I got a 4.0 when I came up in this place. This dude got in here with a 3.0. I can't say nothing about that. I just got to do my job. Man, I'm
So,
smarter than my boss.
so if my trauma,
hmm
maybe it involves abuse, maybe it involves substances, maybe it involves childhood trauma, maybe it involves incarceration, and My job is to manage it every day. Any tips on being a critical thinker amidst, and you said we all have trauma.
Mm-hmm.
We all have to manage it.
Mm-hmm.
Any tips on being the best critical thinker? I've had all of these challenges, but I am the CEO of a company.
Mm. Okay. Listen, you are in great territory right now. All right. Because the first thing that people need to do, therapy. That's number one. Find a therapist that I might get blasted for this, but I don't care. Find a therapist that looks like you and knows your struggle, that knows your culture. Okay. It has a deep rooted understanding of what you could be going through. Find that therapist. That's the number one thing. The second thing you want to do is make sure you are taking care of your physical health because that is aligned with your mental health. Take care of yourself physically, get enough rest, eat properly, make sure you exercise at least 3 times a week. Surround yourself with positive energy. Those things are important. Number three, after you've done those two things, the third thing you want to do is try your best to remove your inner biases because your inner biases will prevent you from thinking critically and objectively. And if you are in business, if you are an entrepreneur, the bottom line is really what matters. The bottom dollar is what really matters, not how you feel. Period. And you have to be in a good place mentally, physically, in order to do that. Now, if you're not getting enough rest at night, if you're surrounded by people who bring you down all the time, that's going to have an effect on your ability to make sound decisions and good judgment. You have to make sure you are doing things objectively and making decisions that are best for you, not based on your feelings and emotions. As an entrepreneur, you're responsible for yourself, for people that work for you. You're responsible for so many things, and the buck stops with you. There's no one coming to your rescue. It's your business. This is on you. I run a business with my wife. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'll be transparent. My wife is a business person. She's business minded. She's also a doctor in social work. So she has the ability to look at something objectively and be compassionate. I'm more of a people person. So the whole business part, I'm still learning. I'll tell you that. I'm still learning. The whole entrepreneurial race and struggle is real. There's some things that you're just going to learn from experience that's not in a book. And one thing that she does, and she started me to do this, she's like, look, you need to read more. And I think that'd be the fourth thing. You need to read more. Pick up a book about a topic that deals with your particular field, your area, your expertise. Pick up a book about it and read it. And if you're not reading at least 2 or 3 books about your field, about your area a month, you're going to struggle a little bit. If you're not talking to somebody who has already made it to where you are, you're going to struggle a little bit. You need a coach, you need a mentor, you need somebody that's going to help you continue to build every day because the buck stops with you as an entrepreneur. You determine everything.
We only have a couple of minutes left, and
Okay.
I get there. This is therapeutic. Toxic people.
Whew.
What
Come on with
is a toxic person? How do I identify them? All I know is it sounds dangerous, and I got to get away from them. And then what if I'm the toxic person? Okay,
Oh, man, you hit me with too much right there. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother
whole
20
nother
minutes.
segment.
All right, toxic people. It's going to be different for everybody. All right. What I determine is toxic, you may determine is cool. All right. But you got to know what's toxic for you. So, for example, as a therapist, as an entrepreneur in this therapeutic business, I know what's toxic for me is someone that is involved in my world that is negative 100% of the time. If you come at me with negativity 100% of the time, I can't handle that. I need somebody in my world who's positive, who knows how to uplift, who knows how to guide, who knows how to give constructive guidance. And notice I didn't say criticism right there, because constructive criticism is still criticism. Criticism is an attack on your character. And that's another element. It's a good segue into this next toxicity thing. If you are surrounded by people who attack your character, even if it sounds like it's helpful, that still hurts. It still leaves a little spot in you that says, man, that was kind of painful. So toxicity can look so many different ways. But for me, it's the negativity that's attached to something. I'm gonna give you an example. You can have a friend, you can have a colleague, you can have a family member who is happy for you to a limit, to an extent. There's a cap on the happiness, because if you're doing well, you can do well, but just don't do better than me. That type of person in your life, you need to be aware of. That person who is happy for you, but there's a cap on it. Now, the young people say cap means lie, but in the business world, the cap is the end. The cap is the extent of something.
It's also conditional. It's not unconditional support.
Right. You don't want that person in your world, because they will actually direct you in the wrong direction if they see you doing better than them. That's not a friend. That's not a support system. You want somebody who wants to see you win. I have a lot of friends who are doing very well in life, and I want to see them win. And there's no competition with me, because I want to see you win. You can't compete with me, because I want to see you win too. You need people like that in your world, because as an entrepreneur, there are so many things to pull you down. The last thing you need is to have a Judas in your camp that you don't even recognize as a Judas. Now, you talked about noticing your own toxicity. Now, that's going to come from self-reflection and some mindfulness. Anybody out there who needs to learn more about mindfulness, get a book about mindfulness, read up on it, do your research on Google, because that's going to help you recognize some of the inner flaws you have that you don't really recognize. Talk to, and this is always good, talk to your spouse, ask them, hey, what are my weaknesses? I guarantee you, they're going to let you know. What are my weaknesses? They'll give you a long list of them, okay? But if they're giving you these weaknesses and letting you know about yourself in a positive way, you need to listen. For example, my wife will tell me my weaknesses, but she won't step on my neck when she does it. She'll say things to me like, hey, maybe you should read up some more on that, without saying it differently, saying, you don't know nothing about that. I wouldn't trust you at all. She wouldn't say that to me. She would say, hey, why don't you read up some more on that? Or, well, maybe you should. Maybe you could benefit from doing this. And that's how it's presented to me.
Delivery.
The delivery, the way it's said, the tone, the facial expression, all of that. Like, it's hard living with a therapist because you know what they're doing. It's like, oh, are you trying to psych me or you really mean that? But just to keep it in line with what you were talking about with toxicity, make sure you understand your own stuff. Like, I got to know my own biases. I don't counsel a certain type of people. I won't say it on the air, but I don't counsel a certain type of people because I know my own biases. I'm not healthy for that person. So I stay away from it.
Jamar, thank you so much. You have poured into me, and thank you.
Hey, I appreciate it. Anytime.
Have a great day.
I hope this helps somebody out there.
Me too. It has helped me already.
All right. Well, you have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you the next time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Career Moving Opportunities for College Students with your host, Donnie Glover. We hope today's episode helped spark new ideas and practical strategies for building your skill set and shaping your future. Be sure to join us next time as we continue the journey from college to career, one opportunity at a time.